In this lecture, we're going to be talking about budgeting. The quote here kind of summarizes the idea here. You are financially wealthy if your income exceeds your expenses. So, the key part of this is being able to track your income and your expenses to find out whether you're actually ahead or if you're behind. So, in order to do that, budgeting is a system that we're gonna kind of go through to kind of set you up to be able to track your income and your expenses. So let's first talk about why budgets are useful. So a budget is an itemized summary of your income and your expenses over a given period of time. So we're going to basically be tracking what you're bringing in, what you're spending your money on, and determining what's left over. And this is going to be covering a certain period of time. So usually this is, you can have a monthly budget, you can have a yearly budget. So it's going to be covering a certain period of time. And so why this is important is that it's a important planning tool for achieving your financial goals that require savings. So there are many kind of life goals that require you to accumulate money, and having a budget will help you kind of stay ahead every period of time that you're kind of measuring. Like each year, if you want to save $10,000 towards some goal, a budget will help you do that. So, for example, you're going to need money to go on trips, for large purchases such as a car or a home, for college. So if you're a parent, you're going to be potentially saving for your kids' college, or if you yourself are trying to go to back to school, then college is uh, pretty expensive, so you're gonna have to save some money in order to do that. Of course, retirement. So having some financial assets kind of saved up by the time you retire is important, and healthcare. So if you have an unexpected health problem, having extra money on hand would be really useful. And of course, just emergencies, general emergencies. If something happens to you, a friend, you have money kind of saved up in order to handle that. Okay, so let's continue talking a little bit more about budgets. So it helps you, and we're gonna kind of see this in another video where we actually kind of put together a budget. But basically, the budget is organized by categories of spending. So, for example, food, entertainment, clothing. You can basically bifurcate, or rather organize your expenses by different categories, and you can track these over time and see maybe if you're spending items in unnecessary categories that you could cut back on. So a budget is useful for kind of seeing where your money is going. If you have a budget, it gives you some control over kind of your financial future and destiny. If you can create a budget and stick to it, it kind of gives you some power to kind of achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve that require kind of financial resources. So instead of kind of feeling like you're out of control and there's no organization to your kind of financial life, a budget is a very useful tool for kind of putting a framework around your finances. Studies also show that people who end up tracking their budgets, and this is specifically with budgeting apps, which we'll talk about, end up spending less, in approximately 12% on discretionary items. So the fact that you're just watching your expenses will cause you to actually save more. So it's kind of this idea of you know scrutinizing yourself will cause you to act better. And this is just the idea of knowledge is power. Um, and getting feedback on your spending creates a saving feedback loop where once you see yourself saving, you're going to want to save more. It becomes kind of a competitive thing almost.